which we have x on both sides again. We got a slightly more difficult problem. We got some negative numbers and some subtraction thrown in here. So we're going to solve algebraically and show our step in the boxes given. So the trick here is, again, to show the work into the boxes as it is being asked. So I've got the equation written over here in my workspace. The x's in one column, the constant in the next column, and on the other side of the equal sign, the same thing. I've got columns set up for the x's and the constants. Okay, so it gives me specific directions. I need to pay attention to these. Step one says to collect the x terms together on the left side. That will be the green side of my workspace. What would I need to do? And it asks me to show my steps. Okay, so is this the only possible method of solving? No, but this is what we're asked to do. So I'm going to move my x terms to the left-hand side. That means I'm going to have to look at the right side, the red side, and decide how will I get rid of this negative 4x. The opposite of negative is adding, so I'll have to add 4x. Whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I need to do the same on the other side. I need to make sure my x's stay lined up in the appropriate column. So x's in the x column in red, x's in the x column in green. All right, what's my next line going to look like? So I'm going to work down each column. 6x plus 4x is going to give me 10x. This minus 7 has not changed, so I'll just write that onto my next line. The equal sign comes straight down. And in the x column on the red side, I had negative 4x, but I added 4x. Those cancel, they add to 0. I'm just going to leave it blank. Zeros are more confusing than helpful. And then in the constant column, this negative 97 is going to come down to my next line. Since it's a negative number, I do need to keep that negative sign. Instead of saying minus, I'm going to read it as a negative at this point. Okay, let's get that work entered into the assignment. So it says to collect the x terms on the left side. What did I do? Well, if I look at my workspace, I added 4x. So I'm going to hit plus. That's my two options out of the drop-down menu. And then what did I add? 4x goes into that space. It asked me what equation that gives. Well, that's what I just wrote down as the bottom line in my workspace. So 10x minus 7 is on one side of the equal sign. It's already got the equal sign here for me. So I'm going to go to the other box and hit negative 97. I'm going to submit and get the next part. Oh, I lost my x. This is an easy thing to do. We've got to make sure we get that x in there. You get all the numbers right and you miss one little detail. Step 2, collect the constant terms together on the right-hand side. Here, the constants mean the numbers. So to move them to the right side means I'm going to move them towards the red side. So I will need to get rid of this green negative 7. I'll have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 7. I'm going to keep my numbers lined up in my number column or the constant column. And let's see what that gives me for my next line. So the 10x, that will remain unchanged. The negative 7, I added 7. Those add to make 0. I'm going to leave it blank. Equal sign comes down. And the constant, I had negative 97. I added 7. It's going to give me negative 90. Okay, let's get that work recorded. So what did I just do? I added 7. So I'm going to select plus. 7 goes here. Gives the equation 10x. I'm not going to forget my x this time. I learned my lesson. Negative 90 on the other side of the equal sign. Submit that part. Here's the last step, step 3. Now I need to isolate x. In order to isolate the x, that means I need to have just one x, positive 1x. And in order to accomplish that, I will need to get rid of this green 10 divide by 10. And on the other side, I also need to divide by 10. So 10 divided by 10 is going to give me 1. My coefficient on the x is going to be 1x. I'm not going to write the 1. I don't need to write a 1x. I can just leave that as a x. With no coefficient, always means that there is one of them. Equal sign comes straight down, and then negative 90 divided by 10, that will be negative 9. Okay, so that's my solution, negative 9. So I need to record the work I just did. What operation did I just perform? Well, it was division. The star is multiplication, the little slash, that means divide. So I'm going to select divide. I divided by 10. 10 goes in here. Final solution was negative 9. Submit. Yay!